Hi, Marty here with Warehouse and Operations as a Career. I've had a few questions, I guess more like comments really, about training. Of course, every facility is going to be different. Every trainer is going to teach differently, and you'll find the procedures and rules are very different at every warehouse, actually. We'll have a special visitor sharing with us shortly as well. I'm certain we'll find his thoughts very informational, as he's a very experienced, well, he's about as experienced as they come, actually. Safety is, of course, pretty much defined, largely because it's a rule and a law, so whether in a production or distribution environment, it's pretty cut and dried, at least the operations part of it. I have the opportunity to visit several different facilities each month, and I can see how when we're listening to friends or family, maybe co-workers from other companies, it can sound a bit confusing. The logic and objectives are all the same, though. As a lumper, we'll simply be unloading trailers, containers, rail cars. As a pallet runner, we'll be moving pallets from point A to point B. As a forklift driver, we'll be placing pallets in their pick slots or the reserve racks. Some companies will be using slips of paper or tags to identify the product, item numbers and slots, while others will be using a full-blown WMS or warehouse management system, and it may be linked to even 3 or 4 other computer systems. I've seen both and really everything in between. Even a receiver's duties can vary from simply counting the cases of each item and writing the number down, or collecting the case counts, manufacture dates, expiration dates, lot numbers, what all else? Country of origin, and really anything a merchandiser or a customer would like to know about the product. That's one of the great things about some of the WMS systems now. Anything you want to capture, you can really capture. Let me give you 2 quick examples of how an order selector may be trained at different distribution facilities real quick. At the first one, we'll call it Company A. The new order selector would show up at the door with the name of a supervisor. He or she would be taken to a room to get his or her 29 CFR 1910.178 training, which should take about half of the shift to really complete. The company's orientation will be given after the class, and that's, as we've learned, company rules, procedures, how to evacuate the building, who we work for, how to get help, all that really orientation stuff. Then we'll go out on the floor, meet our lead, walk through the warehouse, kind of get shown around a bit, and then we'll do the on-site portion of the equipment training. We're then probably sent home and asked to report back at tomorrow's shift to go ahead and start our training. Upon arrival the next day, we're introduced to the selector that will be training us, and he's actually one of our peers or somebody that's going to be selecting with us on the floor. He or she will show us how to punch in, and our pallet jack will probably be assigned to us. We're showed how to fill out our pre-shift documentation, what to look for and where to put it in the maintenance shop, because we got to keep up with that paperwork, as we've learned. We're asked to drive over to the selection equipment lockers and told which locker will be ours. How to put the equipment on, how it works is pretty much explained to us at this point. And now we're ready to get started. The training selector will walk behind us, explaining our selection equipment, the aisles, slots, and the product to us as we kind of start making our pulls through the warehouse. And he or she will stay with us pretty much every minute for that first day of work. The next day, he or she could start out with us, and when they're comfortable, we'll kind of know what we're doing. He or she will go pull a few orders of their own, but they'll be keeping an eye on us and check our orders with us for accuracy also. By the 3rd day, we may get to run on our own, at least a little bit. If we or they feel that we need a 4th or 5th day, of course, they'll stay with us. This system works fine. May not seem real organized, but we're trained and on our way, selecting, and we're making money now. I've always liked this approach. It was really the only approach back in my early years, and it's really good for that self-starter or someone that knows a little bit about the warehouse, which, if we're being offered an order selecting position, we've probably been working warehousing for a little while at least. The crew or team member will ask us any questions, and we need to be asking those questions as well. As we've learned, ask those questions. Our goal is to be the best order selector in as short a time as possible, right? We're already planning for that next promotion. Now, Company B, it could be a little bit different. Here, we'll have our own actual trainer assigned to us. His or her job is to get us up and running as a productive team member as soon as possible, and that's their only duty. They are trainers. Now, this sounds a bit odd because here we'll actually be on a 3-week training schedule. Everything will be pretty much documented. When we show up on that first day, we'll of course go to our 29 CFR 1910.178 classroom. We'll get our orientation, the build and walk through, we'll get our on-site done, and here we'll be walking behind our trainer. We'll be pulling the cases together with them and switching every once in a while, driving the pallet jack. But our trainer will go into detail about the selection system, the aisles, the slots, everything is shared and is really going to be discussed with us thoroughly. About day 4, we're doing all the driving, but our trainer is still with us about 6 hours of the shift. Week 2, we get to select more on our own, but our pallets are all checked and our productivity and errors are going to be reviewed with us nightly or at the end of each shift so we can learn what we did wrong and how to avoid it from happening again. By week 3, we're pretty much on our own. Our numbers and errors are still being shared with us at the end of each shift, and of course, help is offered whenever it is that we need it. Now, week 4, we're going to be evaluated, and we've done a good job. We've been turned loose on our own. If, on the other hand, we're not doing so great by now, we may be moved to another position. They've invested a lot of time with us. I like this method too. I think it's more welcoming, more detailed, if you will. In my opinion, both our example companies are really giving us the instruction. I mean, let's take Company A. Yes, the direct training is only 3 or 4 days, but we still will be getting our questions answered by our supervisor or other team members anytime that we ask them, even over the next 3 weeks, right? It's just with Company B, it's more organized. Everything is laid out for us in detail, really, explained to us before we have a question about anything. You've probably caught on that both trainings are about 3 weeks. It's just with Company B, it's more structured, more productivity driven, and decisions are based on us at the end of our training period. The exact same thing happens at Company A, though. The key things to remember, no matter what kind of training program you find yourself in, is to ask those questions. Listen to what's being explained and taught to us. Follow directions. Remember, we're not the first person that they've trained. They are giving us all the information and detail needed. I mean, we're here to help them. They need us, and they will do everything needed to get us up to speed or up and running as soon as possible. It's up to us to capitalize on their time, though. We're going to be the most productive, error-free selector on the floor. It's part of our plan, and it's our goal. The same scenario can hold true for many other positions. Well, really all the warehouse positions, forklift, hauling, just about anything really. Some places use employees to train while others utilize full trainers. Today, we're very fortunate to have as our guest a bona fide and experienced trainer. Anthony trains lumpers, receivers, really just about all the warehouse positions, and I'd call his specialty is in the order selection field. Anthony, welcome to WAOC, and thanks for taking a few minutes and talking with us today, sir.
Oh, well, thank you, sir, and I'm glad to be here on today's guest. Thank you.
Great. So tell us a bit about your work history and how you landed in your present industry and position, Anthony.
Well, I started actually in a warehouse business at a really young age. I started actually lumping trucks as a lumper at the age of 18. I didn't think at the moment, to be honest, I didn't think much of the position. It was first to get us a summer job, and didn't think it was going to be a career for me. Of course, moving up, and I saw all the equipment that was being run at the moment in the warehouse, forklift driver, pallet jacks, shipping and receiving, and after a year being in the warehouse, it interested me, and I wanted to be a forklift driver. So, being a forklift driver, I had to go through different training programs, certifications, had to go through, throughout the years in the warehouse. I had trouble adapting to new positions, and because I had good trainers and I had bad trainers, throughout my years. So then I started, enhancing my skills by learning different company process and policies so I could help others that came after me in the same business. that's how I started.
Man, that is exactly what we talk about so much here at WAOC is have that next position as your goal before you're even really ready for it, and ask those questions. We've discussed that there are several different styles and directions that a trainer can take, and as they're teaching us to pretty much any position. We all have different personalities, I guess. Could you share what you feel we as trainees kind of responsibilities are, or what you like to see in a trainee?
We as trainees should come with a willingness to listen and a positive attitude. That's important. The responsibilities of a trainee is to come prepared physically and mentally for the specific job assignment they have applied for. I mean, so what I would like to see in a trainee is a desire to succeed in any role and the commitment for the organization. In simpler words, just I want to put it a self-motivator. That's what I look in a trainee.
That's a very, very good point right there. I'm certain that you've had that one experience where you felt an individual should have made a great employee, but just didn't seem to meet your expectations. Why do you think that was? Why did they not succeed?
Well, that's the most important one, and I think this plays out a lot in any industry, especially in this warehouse. It's attendance and lack of communication. And of course, with that role, a lot of them, like I have in my experience, I had many good associates. I couldn't say, the best in business, but they allowed the personal circumstances get involved with their work ethics. And so that alone, kind of throws them off the boat they head into the career, and they don't realize it until it's just a minute too late.
You're exactly right, and it's every guest that we have pretty much, and on most of our episodes where we're talking about advancement, those words continue to come up. The attendance, we've got to be there at work, and communication, and asking those questions. That's very good thought right there, Anthony. We've discussed the ride with an employee style of training and then the full-time trainer method. Do you have a preference or an opinion whether one is better than the other, or do you think it's just different circumstances?
Honestly, I have no preference in either method of training. My opinion is that each style is unique, and an organization needs to just define the quality in the training method they need for the best performing results and budget, you could say. That's my opinion.
That's a very good point, and I've never really thought of it that way. But depending on the job, it may benefit just cost wise to train differently. That's a real good point. What's the one or most important piece of advice that you'd like to share with our group today?
I guess you could say be humble in all kind of teaching experiences, and just show perseverance in everything you do.
Very good. I know you're an ops man, Anthony. Do you have any other opinions or thoughts about the industry that you'd like to share with those of us getting into warehousing, or those of us that are really seeking advancement?
I actually do. So for those that are just starting, my advice is take advantage of the training program, the organization has to offer. And also remember always to give feedback to your trainer or your facility, as this helps a good trainer and trainee do a better job by keeping things fresh and keep going in all the fundamentals of the job needed. And for those that are seeking advancement within the organization, my advice is don't be afraid to fail in a new position, as it brings maturity, not disappointment. And practice all kind of good work ethic in learning all sorts of new skills. And if you are ready to give your 100% to an organization, then don't make up excuses and stay truthful with yourself and others. That's my advice.
Very, very good points, Anthony. Thank you for all that. And Anthony, thanks for sharing your experiences with us today. We'd love to have you come back and visit again as we dig deeper into positions in later episodes. That'd be good with you?
I will gladly likely would like to participate.
Fantastic. And I'd like to say thanks to all our listeners for joining us today. Send us an email or post any topics or suggestions to our Facebook and Twitter feeds. We enjoy hearing from all of y'all. Have a safe shift and ask those questions.